Hi, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Mike Van Orden, founder and artist at Comic Art Mastery. Thanks for joining. Today's video, we are going to work on how to quickly sketch a villain. We're always so focused on heroes. We can't forget that there would be no heroes if there were no villains. So here we go. I don't know who I'm going to draw. Let's pick one of these guys. So we have, these are kind of Batman's typical villains, Penguin, Riddler, Two-Face. I think let's do Two-Face. All right, so we're just going to do a headshot of Two-Face just from imagination. I'll show you a couple of strategies here. So a good way to draw a head is to get ahead in drawing heads. You can draw a box. So you have a box like this. Then make that box into a cube. Draw a line down the center of that box. Keep it going. Maybe about, yay far, depending on how big their chin is. Draw another line. From here, just kind of connect these. And then go along here. Now draw a center line on this box. Now I'll work midway up. I don't usually draw like this, but I'm just showing you proportions. So when you look at it like this, we have the eye line, which connects to the ear line. The ear line goes somewhere around here. Then we have, if we were to draw a circle within a square, we would create a head shape. Draw this straight down for the neck. And there we go. I'm going to pull back just a tad bit. Okay. All right. So once you get your information down, you know where your character is, where everything proportionally is going to be, you can just start working in kind of a skull in your mind. It doesn't have to be a perfect skull. Just remember that you have your eye sockets, you have your bridge to your nose, and then you have your mouth, and then you have your chin, which wraps around. And this is kind of a 3/4 view, so that's why you're seeing more of this side of the face, his left side, than you are seeing of his right side. And this right here is just the phase of finding your your proportions, where things are going to go, so that you can come back and really just draw, because that's what you want to do. You want to have everything laid out, all your guidelines laid out, so that you can do the fun part, which, in my opinion, the fun part is the sketching, the creating, the bringing your character to life. Okay, so within these eye sockets, we're going to put eyes. So I'm just putting a almond shaped shape here, and this one I'm going to create a bigger one, because on this side of his face he's kind of mutated and not so pretty, and doesn't have the skin that he does on this side to make him look more human. And then from here I'm going to go ahead and draw just kind of some lip and a kind of a smirk, and then underneath I'll draw bottom lip. Now on this side I'm imagining that he has teeth going up, which I'll come back and draw these in better later. Then I'm going to give him kind of a big chin, and then this side we can keep it loose, because we're going to come in and we're going to get kind of messy with this side of his face, because he's Two-Faced. So he's got one side which is going to be clean cut and and human-like, and the other side is going to be kind of zombified, melted, burned, toxic, you know, acid, whatever. You're thinking those elements. Okay, and we're going to clean all this up to make it look better. So I'm going to give him kind of a hairline here, and draw some hair in, at least where I know the hair is going to fall. And then over here, I'm going to give him an eyeball looking at us. So I'll just put a circle and then a pupil inside. And same thing here. Now I'm going to work on the shape of his eyes. So I'll give him a little eyelid on top. And then I will put in a circle here and a circle here, or kind of a half circle, and then we'll see most of his pupil. And then we'll go down and create kind of an eyebrow. I'm just drawing this as fast as I can so that we can keep this video short, but should give you enough information so that you can go ahead and practice doing stuff like this on your own. I'm going to raise this cheekbone up a little. And his nose, I'm going to give him kind of a human nose on this side. So we have the tip of his nose where his nostril would fall. Then we have the bridge of his nose. And then underneath this cheekbone, we're going to just draw a straight line down connecting to his jawline. And then that jawline would come into his chin. And then we can just kind of create like a zigzag element here, kind of signifying that this is where his face is divided. And we're establishing this for ourselves. And then we'll start working on some of the elements of the Two-Face side. So I'm going to create, let's see, I'm going to work on his eyeball just a little bit, bring a little life to him. But we're going to come back and erase all this, so don't get too attached to these lines just yet. Just, these are, you're darkening them in enough so that when you do erase, they're going to stay behind and you'll be able to, you know, resketch them and without losing the energy of your sketch. And I'm not going to do too much detail just yet, just kind of placing elements where they might fall. I'm going to give him kind of a warped ear. I think it would fall somewhere around here, and I'm going to have it kind of dripping down. And I just want to create these types of elements to give it a little pizzazz, to give it some character. Okay, then over here, I'm going to create a mouth that opens up a little bit. So his lip, or, you know, lack thereof of a lip, is kind of curving around, and it's going to go like this, and then it's going to end up stopping where this part, where he meets the human side. And then I'm going to lightly pencil in the line of his teeth. So I want them traveling back towards his face. So you're trying to create an illusion of 3 dimensions. And remember, we're going to come back and erase this. So if we've drawn the whole teeth, it doesn't matter. We're going to come back and erase, and then just draw as much of them as we want the viewer to see. Okay, and then from there, it's all texture. So I'm keeping it really sketchy here because I don't want this side to look very clean. I want it to look grotesque, because that's the selling point of Two-Face. And remember, you're always trying to sell your art to the audience. Maybe not financially, but you want someone to look at your art. So you're selling the sizzle, not the steak, as they say. And so I'm just giving kind of a soup outline here. And there we go. So now I have all my elements here, and we are about 10 minutes in. So let's quickly erase. So at this stage, what I would do is take my kneaded eraser and just lightly erase this sketch, just leaving enough behind that I can follow through and redraw everything and make adjustments wherever they're needed. Okay, so this is where the fun part comes in. This is where you can add your details. You can feel free to sharpen your pencil. You can, or not. It's really up to you. I'm gonna go ahead and dive in. So maybe I should zoom in. We'll pull back just a hair. I want to see details. I love details. Okay, here we go. So I usually start with the eye, and the reason for that is, we connect when we see someone's eyes. We try to add some life. We try to see who they are through their expressions, and the eyes all by themselves can say a lot about a person. And then once I get this first eye in, I'll come back here and give him an eyebrow. Now the eyebrow really helps to convey some emotion. And you can see that he's giving a serious glare. And I'm really cartoonifying this, if that's a word. I'm just simplifying it, and I'm not too worried about making this look like a masterpiece, because I'm just showing you the process here. We're not spending hours and hours on this. We could, but I think that you guys probably have lives that you have to attend to. Okay, now I'm just going in, and since I have my previous line work here, I know I'm confident in where things were going to fall. So there's no real guesswork here. Now it's just kind of aesthetics at this point, and you're just trying to draw in such a way that it makes it look interesting. And take your time. If you have a couple hours to spend on the sketch, do so. If you have just moments to spend, that's fine. Anything's better than nothing. So we have the half face, and I'm gonna put his neck down here, and now we'll start drawing some hair. Okay. So what I'll do at this point is I'll start working towards the other side of his face. So on this side, I won't go to the eye immediately. I'll start with the mouth, because I think the mouth is what's kind of eye-catching. No pun intended. And then I'll go ahead and just give traces of his teeth. You don't have to draw each tooth individually, because that's just a little too much, and it will kind of steal from the value that you're trying to create. And then I will start adding some textures and rendering some some details here. And this is stuff I'm just making up. I'm not using any type of reference. Maybe I'll draw a couple circles and then just trying to create some textures. And I want him to come off as kind of, you know, you want him to look scary, but you also want to kind of feel sorry for him at the same time. I don't know. You know that something happened to this guy. Probably wasn't always so bad. Okay, and then this eye, we want to keep this pupil somewhere around the same. And then we'll work on his eyeball. I'm going to show the whole eyeball on here because it's kind of popping out because he's lost all this skin. And I'm going to go ahead and shade in behind just to give it more bang for our buck here, just to make it pop out a little bit more. And I want to add maybe some, if you're coloring this and you have a colorist, they can add some bloodshot eye vessels here, or blood vessels I should say. And then from here, it's just, you know, at your own preference, how much detail do you want to put? You know, do you want to keep it simplified or do you want it to be ultra detailed? It's really up to you as the artist. There's no right or wrong way. It's stylistic in its preference. And do what you're comfortable with. Now I might shade some of this in just to give it some more depth and value and volume. And so I'm going to leave some things open for interpretation. So here we go. Now underneath his chin, I'm going to give him some shadow. And now I'm going to work my way up to these details of his face. I'm just doing the under shadow of his hair. And you can come back in and erase and redraw this and clean it up later if you want to. I do that a lot. I might draw something 2, 3, 4 times, just depending on how much detail it has. Okay, so now we've got this hair established, and I'm just going to work its way up to the top of his head. And as you can see, as it's getting further away, it's getting smaller. And that's just giving us a more of a depth perception. And then as we're shaping our head, you know, you could keep it flat, but my preference would be to give him texture wherever you can. So we have his suit here. And then we know that his ear falls here, but I don't want his head to be just one curved line. I don't want it to be smooth because that would go against everything that we've established so far. So I'm just going to give him some little bumps and indentions here, just outlining. And you know, there's no rhyme or reason to this, just I'm making it up as I go along. Then I'm just going to draw some lines because, you know, we have a pencil. That's our tool, and when we come in, if we have a colorist coloring this, they can get a little bit more specific in terms of, you know, effects. But I just want him to look almost like melted. So I'm not doing any shadows at this point up here. I'm just putting in some lines and squiggly little lines that are consistent with each other. And, you know, consistency sells. So when things are working in a uniform type manner, it can make your work look a little bit more believable. And then I'm just getting down to the nose here. And of course, we can start adding some shadows if we want, like, and on his neck too. Sorry, not to segue here, but I want to keep his neck kind of gruesome as well. And this just goes to show you, you know, I like to draw from imagination, but imagination, it works in different ways because imagination can be a lot of recall. So you're imagining, and you're taking from references from your mind of things that you've seen before. So it's not 100%, you know, you're not just formulating all this into your mind. So it's not this hard process. It's really a lot of recall. And when you get in the habit of just, you know, using your reference from your imagination, it could be a lot of fun because you never really know what you're going to come up with until it's on paper. And, you know, sometimes it's rewarding and sometimes it's, you know, it falls short. But in either case, you know, you're either winning or you're learning, as they say. So if it doesn't meet your expectations or what you're aiming for, you know, study it and ask yourself why and what you could have done differently. And, you know, there's only so much that any other person can teach you. You're going to learn a lot from your practice, from your efforts. Okay, so I'm feeling like he's pretty good here. I'm happy. Don't have to add too much more. We can go ahead and, you know, just put on a makeshift suit. Just to give him kind of a, you know, a relevance that you know that he's not just wearing a t-shirt or it's not sweater weather. Okay, and there we go. I think if we wanted to, we can go ahead and create more texture onto his neck. And if you really wanted to go and really sell this piece, you can just add, you know, find your light source and just start adding some shades here and there just to kind of make it pop out that much more. And so that's it. I mean, there's not really much more I can say on this. It's been 25 minutes. I try to keep my videos under 30 minutes, and eventually I want to keep them even less than that. But, you know, I think this was a fair amount of time, and I think that you can see that, you know, it doesn't take that much to to create a character from your imagination. And you didn't really create this character, but you created your own version of a character. Okay, so there you go. I'm gonna leave with this, and if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. If you have anything that you want me to work on, that would be cool. You know, anything that you need help with, if you have a sticking point, let me know. We can do a video about it. And I do teach. I'm an instructor over at Udemy, and you can follow me on Instagram at Van Orden Art. So it's VANORDENART. I'll leave a link in the description below. And yeah, thanks for joining. I hope that you got something from this class. And let's just zoom in one time. And there we go. Harvey Dent, Two-Face. And next time, maybe we'll draw another villain. I like drawing villains because they're fun and they're rugged, and you can experiment a lot. All right, thanks for joining, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.